Hello everybody. How are we doing? Seun, are you alright? Just real quick before we start, I see many Nigerians before they shout electoral bill, everybody to pass the electoral bill. They don't pass electoral bill now. Any of us will never register party for February, our sure so no go fit register. We no go fit participate for next election. That I don't to me I carry come for the year constitution electoral reform. I don't want to know anything. I don't know what I carry for them with that. Such a terrible ass. But anyway. I'm not feeling too bad. My team played well today, so when I don't even call Yabas now here, we played well, even though we lost the game. And I don't even mind if we lose. As long as we are still ahead of Man United, that's all that matters. And at Liverpool I go school, so for me, I have some feelings towards the club, so it's okay, Anyway, today let's talk about the fallacy of privatization in Nigeria. Because time don't go, I don't want to segue too much. Move to our usual yabis. Let's just go straight into the discussion. The fallacy of privatization in Nigeria. Yes, so in capitalist rhetoric, they get different epistemology, what they disguise as fact. So these disguised facts, you understand? This disguised epistemology, what do they call fact? One of them, we say, government has no business in business. I repeat, government has no business in business. That's something we start from America, And really to go into the sociology of privatization, not even the economics of it, to go into the sociology of privatization, we need to go a little bit back in history, you understand, into the Marshall Plan, to look at the Marshall Plan in both Europe and America, we'll look at Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR's New Deal, what you call the New Deal in America, you understand, and we'll look at the Marshall Plan in Europe, you understand, and we'll look at all those societies, how it be, until black people were allowed into those societies, allowed to participate in those societies, and the things we have, why things change. So we will look the difference, you understand. So for example, America has always been capitalist, right? So but many people don't say capitalism no guarantee people, how I put it, no guarantee you anything. Capitalism never guaranteed people anything. All over the world, everything we get from capitalism was as a result of struggle. The landowners, when industrialization starts, the landowners, they collect and then they run all the factories and their own business. So their children, they work there, their family, they work there. Now, street people, where they just park, poor people, they will just park you, basically lock you, the serfs. Europeans, they don't get slaves, but they had serfs. You were tied to service, they will just park people, lock inside factory. You understand? Even children, so even that's why for Europe today, you see many people, they bear names like Smith, they bear names like Cooper, they bear names like Mason, they bear name Carpenter, they bear all those kind of names. Yeah, those things came from the Industrial Revolution at the beginning. Where, if you remember the story of Oliver Twist, many street children, they pickpocket for Europe, where they pickpocket for America, all those people, they pack them, go lock them inside factory, maybe they work by force. So those people don't get family. Most of them are orphans, street children, we come from village. So they don't get name. So now when they put you to go work, like the name they will give you. So when you go work as ironsmith, you be Smith, blacksmith, now Smith. All those people where they design stone, now Mason. You where they build barrels, you be Cooper. Yeah, you really do carpentry, you be carpenter. They name them by the work where that's why if you go there, you will see name like farmer. You don't understand? That is where those the beginning of those names. Now you go realize, say, that 24 hours people been they work with my brothers and sisters. one day on, one day off, or something like that. But you work the whole day. Not now through unionizing, where people come put themselves together, fight against these factory owners, these landlords. You know, if you check the history, even in America, in the whole of the 20s, the 30s, then came the Great Depression. So many movements to bring dignity to the life of the European worker. I don't even want to talk about what happened to Africans that time. We will never even go our own side. Even their own people now they talk about. So, you know, to stop children from working, making children go to school, making work 9 to 5 and weekends off for workers. All those things came from struggle. People still say industrial revolution, people, all these big men just allow us paid vacation, maternity leave. Every single step where workers for even Europe and America benefit from capitalism came from them fighting. But then after World War II, it was evident also that the system had to change. People demanded more from the system. So in Europe, the America and the British, they launched what they call the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe. You know, for America, FDR launched the New Deal for the workers. So in this New Deal, they realize, say, for this New Deal, they realize, say, it is impossible to keep the people down, not give the people anything, and expect them to continue to, you know, support the system. You know, and from all this, the social welfare state was born to say, okay, to stop these workers from agitating, to stop these workers from always fighting, we're going to give them free housing, free healthcare, free subsidized transportation, free education, all those things, subsidized food. You understand? They realize at that time, see, the things where people need to survive with dignity, those things will give you dignity as human beings must not be monetized. You understand? All these things what they tell you. So at that time, black people were either slaves, you understand? We were either slaves, colonized, or going through Jim Crow. So all these laws no matter, concern us. You understand? I'm just saying how they set it up for themselves. See, they're not going to profit of the life of their own people anymore. You know, you want to make money, you find a way to do business. You might even exploit the people, but exploit them in a business way. We're not going to allow for exploitation of our people through their dignity. We're not going to, you know. So those things where you need to have dignified existence, shelter, clothes, housing, food, all those things became either subsidized or free. You understand? In Europe and America, for the white world, basically. All over the world for white people. You know. But now, something dramatic happened in the 60s. We start after World War II. As their workers too, they fight for this, their own better benefits. Africans too, all over the world, were fighting for freedom, for liberation from colonialism, from Jim Crow. You understand? Up until this point, no black man in the world could vote. Up until 1960, none of us anywhere, no black man anywhere in the world had the right to vote in how it was governed. We did not decide our own lives. You know, people don't understand this. That's why they always tell people, you know, many stupid black people, they always say, I'm self-made, I'm self-made. It's impossible for any black man in the world to be self-made. It's just impossible. Because for everything where black man achieve within this system, for any opportunity where this system they give us today, one person, two people, 100 people don't die for you for that opportunity to be possible. If it's to vote, people died. If not to go school, people died. If not to enter bus, people died. To be doctor, people died. So whatever we have been able to achieve as African people, Elvino asked, couldn't African Americans? No, my brother. African Americans could not vote up until about 1964. African Americans, no black man in the world could vote till about at least 1960. In Nigeria, we started having our independence. In Africa, the Ghanaians in 57, you know, in national elections to decide our own fate, our own future. You know, they allow us for Africa, they do some kind of they give us representation for their, but we never had the vote. You understand? So now part of the empire in Modu, one of our first, one of the first fathers of African liberation in Africa, in Nigeria, the first union leader, president of the Nigerian Labour Union in Nigeria, Pa Imodu, Michael Imodu, you know, said no taxation without representation was one of his strongest mantras to rise up the people, and he got 3 million Nigerian workers to go on strike for the benefit of the Nigerian people, for the benefit of the poor people where they don't know before, where they know see all Nigerians, 3 million Nigerians went on strike for us to get what we have. This small people don't understand. They say Oyibo give us independence. They'll say Nigerians no fight. Yes, Oyibo say we don't ready to fight. No need to fight. There no two ways about it. 3 million workers down tools. That was Pa Imodu, and they knew that the Europeans were ready for them. So they can't hijack that movement with them Balewa, with them Azikiwe, with them Awolowo, with them Umaru Diko, with their boys basically. They hijacked the independence movement from the true liberators of this country, the socialists of this country, people like my grandmother, the Aba women, the coal miners of Enugu, people that acted with communal spirit for this country to be free. You understand? Anyway, let me continue. So up until this moment, you see all this free, say man must live with dignity. When they were saying man, Europeans did not consider Africans in this conversation. So as soon as we won the vote and no more discriminatory, they couldn't openly discriminate against us. They realize they can't realize, say, sorry, I had to grab some water. They can't realize, say, black people too go get that free housing. Black people too go chop that subsidized food. Black people will also go to the free school, get the free health care. No way, no way, no way. No way, no way, no way. But they know, say, they don't fit do them through the government. Say, we can't give only black people. So what do? They make it about economics. Knowing fully well, say, black people who don't get enslaved and colonized can never afford the services if they put prices on it. Now, their capitalism from bring the idea of privatization. So we as government no go exclude una, but we go use money exclude una by saying government cannot run these things. We have to run it for profit. If you cannot afford it, you cannot use it. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You know, I see that game. Now I understand these racist motherfuckers. I understand them. They are racist. That explains why they did what they did. That explains this game they are playing in America to their own destruction. Look at American society, where you cannot get free, no health care, no housing. See people on the street, drug killing people, violence. You cannot afford treatment. I say I watch one documentary, I don't forget the name. The woman, they talk something. And the thing, one man talk something. I mean, yeah, he talks, I don't forget the doctor name. The thing blow my head. For a country like America, the man say, for this place where in the monitor, there has been 16,000 cases of overdose. For one big area where in the monitor. He said, now not be the high number of overdose they disturb them. Say 16,000 people get overdose. It's out of that 16,000, like 1,000 something die or something. I don't forget the numbers. He paid me, so I forget the numbers. He said some amount die. He said, but for the amount where no die, where none of them get treatment or therapy. Say they just save their life and they release them and they go because the government will not pay. Knowing fully well. Because back in the 80s, it was majority black people, crack epidemic. But now you don't enter white. Story don't change small, sha. Story only change small. Anyway, now let's move to Nigeria. Privatization in Nigeria. So Nigeria too, when I look during the military era, we will not get say in Nigeria. We had no say. in how the country was run. We the people had no power in Nigeria up until 1999 basically. Most of the things for Nigeria are public. Even though the military corrupt, they were running it badly, they were destroying it, it was publicly owned. So now them own am, now then they run am, now then sit down there, abi? As soon as we got democracy in 1999, Obasanjo stand up say government has no business in government. Nigeria self begin do it in privatize. We begin privatize everything. They go bring their boys, pack all the money where they don't thief for Nigeria during military era. Pack all the money they don't hide on that cooking pot, on that chair, inside. Pack everything aside. Pack give their $4 under, give the $10 and the Dangotes and all these. There are people where they run all the whole business for Nigeria. Pack all the money, give to them. Pack and finish. You don't understand? Because see, you know the good thing. We say people will say, I will say, Obasanjo give Dangote money. No be me talk am. No be me talk am. Go and read Awujale's book. You see, it's good to monitor elite fighting. I never read any book where any Nigerian don't write before. Any of these our leaders, because all now revisionist history. Any of them history where you read. As bad as Nigeria be like this, if you read their story, they go write book. Obasanjo don't write almost 6 books about himself. More than 6. If you read all these books, none of them don't ever say, I did this one wrong. This was my fault. Never. Never. All of them are hero. Everybody is blaming somebody. That's a revisionist history. Now, Awujale was fighting with Obasanjo and Dangote on behalf of Adenuga. So, for his book, he can't write book of it to attack. For the book, Awujale say, oh, Dangote body, Obasanjo can give up. And I believe in a Yoruba king cannot lie. I believe. So anyway, now just like their masters in Europe and America, these people use privatization to collect everything where we Nigerians build. Because under military, as the government they build them, no military man fit talk say, na me get them. Even though now then they chop all the money waiting for them. Even though now then they chop all the money waiting for those things. Nigeria textile mill, Nigeria tobacco company. Now remember, we get all these things. So automobile company of Nigeria, company Yakpa under. They run am, they chop am, they destroy am, but they no fit talk say that they get am. Now, democracy don't come. Where we the people don't get chance to chook eye. They can't collect everything. Can't tell us say government has no business in business. Say Nigerian government need to concentrate on developing the country. So all these businesses where Nigerians take billions of naira build, then go give them to good citizens of Nigeria. We go run them to the benefit of Nigeria. Take the company, employ Nigerians, improve those sectors. By improving those sectors, the economic sector, government said they improve the social and human sector. Economy and human, they grow together. Our country will deep. Now country well, I can't sell us that story. Now textile mill, they first give Dangote. I don't know if anybody remember about Nigerian textile mill. How many thousand jobs Dangote removed there? Small begin they close the companies. One by one. Lay out how many hundred thousands of workers Dangote laid off from Nigeria textile mill. Broke that company to pieces, reduced it to money for himself, never developed it. Now, every single fabric we use in this country comes from China. If you have money, go to Dubai. Or if you have money, you go to Dubai. Wait, before I go, Sulky Star say blacks don't like to help one another. That's why we don't go forward. And that's the lie. Sorry, guys. Say black. I don't think that's a lie. Fella is a black man. He was trying to help black people. You know, Bob Marley, Thomas Sankara, Nkrumah, Lumumba, so many African people. What the mistake we make is that we don't put ideology into context. We believe once you have black skin, you're a black man. No. See, as Eric Clark said, all skin folk ain't kin folk. It's not by skin that somebody is an African. African is a mindset, the way of life. You understand? It is not by having white black skin that makes you an African man. No. Yes, you have African heritage. Yes, you have African ancestry. But you are not of us. It's not by just the skin. Your action matters. Your words, your thinking, how you see the world. You understand? So it is those Africans that think that they are Europeans that don't care about black people, because they know that Europeans don't care about black people. Those Africans that think that they are Arabs, they don't care about black people. You understand? I gave you an example. Look at the man when building collapse for Ikoyi. They say the man don't build houses for all over Europe and America and South Africa, countries where white people they control. How many of your buildings don't break down, don't collapse to kill those people there? None. But you can't build for Africa, for your own country, the one we collapse to kill people. So we must understand, Africa not be skin alone, no. Africa na ideology. You understand? Africa now waiting inside your heart towards other African people. You can't say you are destroying the life of African people and you are African. That can't, no. You are an enemy of Africa. Forgive me. But let me go on. So now they privatize. So now they always ask Nigerians, because we for Nigeria, we also believe this epistemology so much. We look up so much to these private sector crooks, as if we don't know that that corruption in Nigeria cannot happen without the complete compliance of the Nigerian private sector. This so-called private sector, who will act like say they are innocent in this corruption that we are going through. So as we do like this now, we're going to look at a few of the major privatized industries in this country to ask ourselves if it is really working. If privatization is real, what are these private people now? Okay, what is the difference between private and public? I will start with lights, discos. Now these disco owners, they will quickly run and shout and complain that it is because they are not the ones transmitting. They only sell them. They are not the ones generating. They only sell them the one to distribute. They are not the ones generating. They only generating. They are not the ones transmitting. Is the problem? They will shall give excuse. Why did you buy it if you know that you can't run it to the ones that we have given you? First question: why did you still buy? Now they've sat down there. They don't increase light money. They increase light money. They increase light money since we they pay them all this type of money. They increase. They say light bill don't blow. When under public control, we don't ever hear say light bill blow. Now light bill don't blow. Beauvoir. Light bill don't blow. So what are they doing? What is the benefit of the private sector? Why are they different from the public sector? I ask again. We use light as an example. Has light improved in this country since it has been privatized? From PHCN, Yaradu are taken back. They do disco. They are all there chopping the lights. Okay, let's assume, let's agree, say light na luxury. Say, Seun, why you talk about lies? She mean that you won't watch TV, now you won't use internet. Forget lies. You can go back to the Stone Age and live inside cave with candle and live normal. How about those things where I don't feel live without? How about the healthcare in this country? Now, the budget of National Assembly of about 400 and something individuals is more than the healthcare budget for the whole country. The budget of 400 individuals at, so I'll use this healthcare alone, take explain, I won't explain, and I'll call it a day for the live, you know. The budget of NAS alone is more than the budget of healthcare for everybody in this country. Now, with the one that say, as intelligent as all these people say they be, don't they think that the healthcare of Nigerians need more investment more? So healthcare is privatized, right? But the privatization of healthcare is not like privatizing a company, okay? You know, if you look at like Nigerian textile mill, just carry everything, give one person. You can't do it that way, right? You know, if you close down healthcare in the country, you can't do that. So what you can do is encourage private competition. You get me? So privatization of healthcare in Nigeria means, you know me say, public healthcare facilities closed down. No. But that will be the next. Not be say go close down, they'll begin to sell out to themselves. They sell teaching hospitals. Watch. Very soon they will privatize the teaching hospitals, the general hospital themselves. They'll begin selling. But right now we're at the stage where we are public and private compete. So you see, these same people that own the private hospitals in this country, this same set of people that own this private hospital, they are the same people that have ruled Nigeria, that their family is in the Senate, their friends are in the Senate, you understand? Their friends are ministers, their friends are president, their friends are governor, that they own private hospital everywhere. They will now tell their friends to defund the public service. Because without funding, no public service can work. Without appropriate funding. So I always tell people that when people tell me they want to develop Nigeria, they want to develop Nigeria. Imagine a government that decides to give health care to the people of Nigeria, to develop public health care in this country. Imagine the amount of jobs such a program will create immediately without us even having to borrow money from anybody. Just imagine the amount of ambulance drivers we'll need in the 774 local governments, the amount of phone operators we'll need for emergency phone call to answer when somebody is sick. Emergency services will have to be created. People will have to train those people. All this is employment too, which are the GONI doctors in all these 774 local governments, in the clinics, primary healthcare centers, big hospitals, surgery, emergency ward. Imagine the amount of development, the amount of work, the economic boost where such development program could create that will lead immediately and directly to better living and improvement in the output of Nigerian people. You know, simple. Nothing sophisticated. No need to borrow big grammar. We are going to take the GDP of the OAP to join it to the VP of the PP and bring it down to the PPA to act. Just, I want to give you healthcare in 4 years. Public healthcare that everybody in Nigeria can access regardless of your income. And it's simple. The government will create the technical know-how and the resources. The people create the labor, and together we'll create these things in all the local governments for the people. The people will build them things themselves, and that process, learn how to build buildings, learn how to run hospitals. So many things will happen in our country. Doctors will be better, you understand, because they are now having more access to better. Anyway, let's not go into that. But anyway, so this doesn't happen. No government has ever come to develop any of these our public services. Education is left to rot because there's private education. Public housing is left to rot because what? There's private housing. Let me not expand. Let me just use this healthcare. Let me stay because it's still the same thing. I'll make the same point. You understand? So now, after their friends don't defund the public sector finish, these people will now go and build the private one, where they can charge anything they like to the people of this country. Now, the middle class of this country, the so-called middle class, the employed, they have made them believe through media manipulation that it is a thing of pride to be able to afford these high prices. That your reason to exist in life is to be able to afford these high prices. That anybody that cannot afford these high prices that this elite creates in their private institutions does not deserve to survive, does not deserve to live. You see that manipulation? Now you now go into these private hospitals. You would think that these people that have lobbied, as they say in America, are lobbying. So this thing, don't think it's only in Nigeria. Don't look at, go and hear about big pharma in America, what they are doing to people's health there. It's the same thing, just in a smaller scale here, in a less sophisticated way here, because they don't get the sophistication, they don't get the development. You understand? So now you would think that the people that have gone to lobby government to defund public health care will care enough to bring good services with their high fees. Now lie. Now lie. Doctors in Nigeria are running away by their thousands. Why? Because I'm telling you, if the private institutions in Nigeria were creating, the kind of medical environment where doctors, even though they're not making as much money as their compatriots, their colleagues in Europe and America, but they are able to advance their knowledge and their skill. Trust me, the percentage of doctors that will be leaving Nigeria won't be as much as we are seeing today. The reason that many doctors leave, especially the ones that I know, is not even because of the money. Many of them that I know are leaving because they are not able to practice to the best of their abilities. Do you understand? Many of the doctors that I know that leave Nigeria are leaving because they are not able to practice to the best of their abilities. So doctors cannot perform to the best of their abilities. Patients themselves are not getting the best services. Yet the owners of the hospital continue to charge the highest services, the highest fees for these things. You understand? So this is the fallacy of privatization in Nigeria. It goes deeper than that. You understand? So when you have private healthcare should be for the betterment of Nigerian people. Healthcare should be for the wholesome development of Nigerian people's health, right? We should be a healthier nation. Healthcare should be trying to make us more healthy as a nation. But go and look at the statistics. In fact, today, that we have more private hospitals in Nigeria today, we have more private hospitals than we did in 1960, right? We are paying more for healthcare today in Nigeria than we did in 1960, right? But you will find out that our life expectancy in Nigeria has gone down today, is below that of 1960. There has not been any improvement in the healthcare of Nigerian people between now and even say 1960, even say 1980, 1990. In fact, polio is back in Nigeria today. Polio is back. Cholera is doing a number on us in the east. Polio is doing a number on us in the north. But trust me when I tell you this, the price has been going steadily up for the Nigerian people. So all these things that I keep saying is the point I'm trying to make in terms of, how do I put it? The fallacy of privatization in Nigeria. That even though we are told that the private sector will be able to run things better for us, make things better for give us better standard, you understand? But now, here's the catch-22. Many of these private institutions want to charge Nigerians world-class prices. You understand? They want to charge us world-class prices, but they don't pay us in Nigeria world-class wages. So there's a disparity. And this is even showing very vividly in the oil business in Nigeria today. Look at the price of diesel today is about 800 and something. So very soon I go see say Nigerian big men go soon. Even I know the middle class of Nigeria. Nigeria, because I don't open one business, they form big man. You don't open one factory, they form big man. Una go soon confess. The first big man protest in Nigeria will soon happen. No one they form say you can take it, you are a big boy, any amount you can pay. When they deal with you, una go protest. Una go wear all una Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, and Versailles now go protest. One can't say protest don't work, una can't carry all that, una can't join MOP. Because they need to organize. Because this is the issue. You know, many of the aspiring elites, you know, the oppressors in waiting in Nigeria, they don't know that they will never get to that status. You would think, how many of us, how many positions are there? Anyway, we cannot go into that one. So look at today, for example. Nigerians are being forced to pay world-class prices for diesel. But we don't earn world-class wages in Nigeria. You know, so it's only the few Nigerians where they earn money for foreign exchange, you know, where they earn big money, and no go complain. But many of the people today in this country are going through hardship because we cannot afford the prices of these things. Prices keep going up while wages stagnate. You understand? So, what is really going on? What did really happen? You know, what did really happen? We get government who's supposed to put price control to check inflation in a country like our own, you know? Because all these people, they make a killing from the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people, we stand up for our rich. You know, many of you think all these people, you know, we help them. We use taxpayers' money to give them big breaks and big loans. You know, for example, look at AMCON. They say only about 300 Nigerians are owing 10 trillion naira. So AMCON story, I don't know if you know AMCON story. AMCON story, they say Obasanjo give all the big men for Nigeria free right to go take loans from bank without collateral. You know, just by their name and their company, say they will do what they are. They are the ones boosting Nigerian economy. Bank will begin pack loans, give all these big men who they look up to 10 trillion. Instead of they take and run the business, they will take and run. They buy yacht, they buy plane, they fuck a shower all over the world, they buy designer, they drink champagne, they live life. Now the economy of the world can't crash for 08. By the time when the thing go reach Nigeria for 10, they don't pay the money. All the banks are going to collapse. So the government can't say they go to protect the depositors' money in the bank. They have to buy those loans from the bank. So the government can create the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, what they call AMCON. So AMCON can buy all these loans, over 10 trillion naira in debt. As you know, bad debt. Debt we don't get any collateral tied to it. AMCON buy everything. They say they protect depositor money. Look, let me ask AMCON where they see money buyer. AMCON will say now taxpayers' money they take buyer. I beg, who be taxpayer? Who be depositor? Who be taxpayer? Who be depositor? Anyway, that's not the point I'm making. The point I try to make is say, during that their own time of hardship, we the taxpayers, the people of Nigeria, we carry our money, we build them out. Now, during our own time of hardship, these big men sit down on all the industries, and what do? They increase price because they cannot take a loss on behalf of Nigerian people. They cannot take a financial hit on behalf of Nigerian people. You understand? But we have to go through hardship for their own benefit all the time. Naira is dropping, we cannot afford anything for their own benefit all the time. I don't even want to talk about the banks and their laundering business inside corruption. I don't want to go into any other. I will use healthcare. Just this our healthcare. Private. Now, they're going to be suggesting. So these public centers, you see, these public centers, where they know the fund, they will say they operate well. So how something we know the fund will operate well? Now they'll say to save those centers, they have to also privatize them. You understand? And that will be the end of any kind of healthcare for the poorest of people in this country. You understand? And even we will allow for it to be privatized. When we go into those buildings, we will not experience any good healthcare. So there's a fallacy in privatization in this country. Because which I realize, you see, when things are privatized in this country, it just means that somebody has their hand in our pocket. Somebody has their hand in our pocket, taking all our money and not giving us even what they say that they are giving us. There's nothing anybody for Nigeria, if you talk, say that they're proud about in the private sector. You know, they always use transportation in Lagos. Transportation in Lagos is majorly private. Therefore, is privatized. Public transportation in Lagos has been completely privatized. Look at what we have to go through. Government have to come back with BRT. BRT is still the best bus in Nigeria. None of the private bus owners have thought to invest their money to give us good bus with seat belts. Have you seen Danfo's motorways? This is private transport. Look at our airlines. How many of them don't day for airport 7 hours? I tell you, as bad as Nigeria Airways be until the end, it was never that bad. Now the end of our Patapata line become that bad. So what we are doing now is we are enjoying as normal the worst of Nigeria Airways. What is privacy? Are you satisfied with your telephone service? Because now make them sell all the whole. Till today, we don't have local competition for international telecoms. All our telecommunication are international companies. Nitel is dead on arrival. Because they don't say if Nitel did, they don't have any reason to charge us expensive price for data, expensive price for. There will be local public competition. See, this is what the elite call privatization in Nigeria. The elimination of the public competition, the public service. The elimination of public service is what they call privatization. Not healthy competition with the public services. Say, okay, Nitel did there. They are making sure that Nitel is functioning well, and these businessmen are competing with the people to give us better service. No. Their idea of privatization is to destroy the public service so that they can charge us high fee in their own private company. So we end up in a situation where Nigerians pay the highest price per capita for data, more than any other citizens in the world, even more than those that earn more money than us 1,000 times, because there's no public service competing with these private telecommunications. They've lobbied our government, which is themselves. Go and look at the board of all these companies, all these Nitel, all these MTL, all these companies. Go and look at their board, MTN, look at Glow. It's full of these people. So they destroy our own, so they make more money. And give us bad service. That's the one that is annoying me. The bad service, the bad returns. The bad service that is given in return for this high cost that they charge us for existing. Can they be human enough to at least, if you take our money, give us what you have taken our money for? Mr. T from Italy, my homie, these are going to be oligarchs. So these are going to be only sharks. Oligarch, nah, all those ones are Europeans. For Africa, now only sharks we get. Only sharks. We go shop. I never tell me what private sector business in this country give us world-class returns? Is it their private schools? The only thing with private university, take better past public university, but you know, they strike. It's not as if the standard of education is better. It's not as if the information is better. It's not as if they graduate better students, better professionals than the public schools. They just sabotage the public schools with bad funding so they can charge high for the same rubbish in private institutions. So this is the fallacy of privatization in Nigeria. So me, I want people to know, they say, I am not against healthy competition. I am not against people making money. Even though my grounding is socialist, I am not against people making money. I am all for that. What I am against is people making money of the existence of other people. You're not supposed to make money because your brother is sick. You're not supposed to make money because your brother is hungry. You're not supposed to make money because your brother is homeless. You're not supposed to make money because your brother is naked. You see, all these things that they monetize is what removes the dignity from the existence of African people. But since the government cannot say it is them doing it, they have to say it is because you cannot afford it. That is the meaning of privatization. To bring an economic angle to a human issue. There's no economic in you are not an economic tool. Your existence should not be the way somebody is surviving. One company will put toll gate in the road and be making money off your movement. So if you don't pay this person, you cannot move. Why? Why is it that way you want to make money from how I can move? Especially we as African people. Toll gate in Africa is very, very wicked. I'm telling you. It's a wicked idea. Nobody can tell me anything. Because we Africans, we are locked out from the world. We are not like Europeans that can just pack their bag and travel, go anywhere in the world and see the whole world. I'm a European. No. We Africans don't have that luxury. Then our own country we're supposed to even go as we like. Somebody put toll gate, say, they pay me before you pass here. Pay me before. Come on, man. Come, what do we do? What do we do? Can't we just breathe somewhere? Can't we breathe before you hold our throat? Let us breathe. We just want to breathe. We just want to breathe. Please. Anyway, so this is my point, and what I'm trying to tell all of you is to understand, say, we are not against making money in MOP. A lot of people come up, socialism, they are afraid. If you are truly talented, if you are a true businessman, if you have true ideas in your mind, you have nothing to fear from the ideologies of the MOP. Nothing at all. Because the MOP is there to make your business move forward as an African. We want African businesses to compete with global businesses. You understand? Not to be destroying African people. African business is there to make money for African people from the world. You will make products that can go global and bring us pounds, and bring us dollars, and bring us yen. That's what we want. Not that you are doing rubbish and then squeezing water out of stone from our pocket and there's nothing. No, that's not the kind of African business we want. Understand? We want those things. We don't want people to make money off the existence of their brothers and sisters. So that for me is the main point here today. And the fallacy of privatization in Nigeria, as we can all see. So that being said, the next best I view is going to be women in MOP. You know, feminism versus femininity. You know, bringing women into MOP. You know, that's the next. Because honestly, we need more women in the movement to, you know, give us the energy and the leadership that we need for, as an African movement, to achieve those things that we need to achieve. So thank you everybody for tuning in today, and we'll do this again soon. we'll do this again soon. For this, my next topic that I just said. So as I said before, we are all about people that want to bring real business as African people for the benefit of African people, not those that want to exploit, extract, and also mortgage and monetize the dignity of their citizens. Good night. Hello everybody. How on a day? How's the weekend? Sorry I linked this thing up late today. I attend one MOP Zoom, so make me finish, just the finish. Yeah. So should we dive into the topic? This live really, I hope a lot of people get. I hope a lot of women are here. I hope a lot of people are also with their wives and sisters and daughters that are above 18 are here too, because this is a clarion call, I beg. We need more women, actively participating in MOP. We have a lot of women. We have women members, not as much as I would like, but none of them are putting themselves forward for, prominent positions at the moment. We have only a few, but too few. In the admin, for example, we only have one. And for me, I think we need one. We need more. And maybe it's because, we say we are Pan-Africanists. And people always mistake Pan-Africanism for the subjugation of women. That, African men like to subjugate women. This MOP and their Pan-Africanism, they will not like women to have mouth inside there. But on the contrary, as real Pan-Africanists, we at MOP, we know that it is important not only to allow our women speak and be represented in our organization, but also to defer to them. You understand? And to defer to them, meaning that we need not only women in their physical form, but we need the femininity of women. That is the female energy in MOP. That is what is going to make MOP special. We as we waiting for MOP now, we embrace a lot of those energies that are attributed to the mothers of the world, that typically all these normal political parties they reject, all these normal politicians they reject. Anyway, everybody is just tripping for my tracksuit. Let me tell you people the story. This is Africa for Africa, sportswear, AFA. Africa for Africa sportswear. And they hooked me up. They talking things with me. I never want the loud too much, but I just make her wear the one. They just give me just flash out for now. Pan-Africanist things. All African flags represented. The green, white to the motherfucking green. So let me continue the gist. More than I'm not dashing any of you this. My drip. Anyway, so as I tell them that they go, we for MOP, we truly understand the true nature of Africa. The true nature of Africa is maternal, right? The true nature of Africa is maternal. African people, you know, even if you go for real traditional, I know, well, me I be Yoruba, so I don't know about many other cultures, but for true Yoruba families, right? For true Yoruba families, where they practice Yoruba culture, you know, not be the first son they inherit anything. You always say first son, no, the property of the man is divided amongst the wives, and all the children inherit from their mothers. You know, if the man gets 6 wives, they will divide the thing into 6. Then the woman, then will come from the woman, the first son they inherit, the mother they inherit, the sisters will inherit, everybody will inherit from their moms. You understand? Africa is maternal, so we understand that energy, you know. Now, we for MOP at the same time, and this might sound like a contradiction, if you don't understand which I want to talk about. But we for MOP, we are not feminists. We don't really believe in feminism. One of the good documents, now one of the, on Africana Womanism and Afrocentric theory, now one woman they call Nadove, you know, was, she write out for the Journal of Black Studies, you know, and waiting be Africana Womanism. How Africana Womanism take different from feminism? And why do we encourage Africana Womanism? Now, for us, Africana Womanism reconcile the contradictions between African men and African women. Now, reconciliation ideology. See, feminism, on the other hand, a divisive ideology. You understand? Women versus men. No. Africana Womanism still insists on women with men working together. And for me, it's very important. It takes one thing into consideration. It brings love into the equation. You know, it brings love into the equation. And I say everything we do now because of love for our people. Everything we do now because of love for our people. Everything we do now because of love for our people. So, if there's love in the equation, what happens? Love is tolerant. Now, don't get me twisted, thinking, say, oh, I'm trying to absolve African men of their toxic behavior. You know, no, not at all. But I'm saying we still have a responsibility to heal one another. Because there are a lot of toxic women too, you know. But no matter what we see as negative in our people, for example, in our country, when they look Nigeria as Nigeria bad, does that mean we abandon sheep? Everybody is running away? Yes, some people want to run. But those of us that truly love our country want to stay and do what? Fix it. That is the relationship between the African man and African women. We cannot abandon one another due to some mistakes, differences, whatever it is. We and our women must reconcile ourselves. You understand? You know, and for this theory, the woman gave an example of the Black Panthers Party and how a lot of men in the Black Panthers Party used to be very toxic men, you know, that were misogynistic, that didn't want women to talk, that were pushing women to the back and things like that. But that did not make the women in Black Panther Party leave the party. And many of them were strong leaders in the party themselves. What they did was to show these men the error of their ways. What they did was to show these men the error of their ways and help them become better men and help all of them become those leaders that we know today and admire. You know? So that for me is what Africana Womanism is all about. And now, don't get me wrong, you know, in every situation there are extremes. Some people are so toxic, we just gotta let them go. Feel it for more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So people say also to me, why not feminism? And also the ideology of feminism for me does not change the world. The ideology of feminism does not change the world, right? It just is an integrationist ideology. integrationist ideology, meaning women are saying we too can do these things too. You know, we can bomb people too. We can be corrupt too. Bring us into the system. I'm doing live, you guys. Don't come and spoil my life. This is also. Anyway, guys, sorry, I get my wife is here with her friends. Come, you guys are disturbing my life here. I'm live.
What? Up your ring lights now, Honorable Minister. Up it.
No, I don't need to up it. Live here. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. So for me, I say, when people tell me about feminism, I don't see it as an ideology that wants to change the world. They want to join what is going on. And that is not enough, you know. And we as African people must realize also the differences in our struggle. You know, we must also see the differences in our struggle. You know, we must see the differences in our struggle, like, how do I put it? For example, when the white women got the vote in the 20s, they did not fight for the black woman to vote too. There was no camaraderie there. The white women were voting from the 20s, and black women got their vote with black men. You understand? Black women got their vote when black men got their vote. Black women could get educated when black men could get educated. You understand? So this must be our understanding of our struggle, the inseparability of it. You understand? Everybody, I've not moved in anywhere. I didn't move in anywhere. What are you people saying? I'm just on the island. I have a show today on the island.
Yeah, I've moved to a new house.
We have not moved to any new house yet. This is not my house, so this is not Big Bed house. So yeah, as I was saying, if this was my house, why would I be doing live in a place where there's no Che Guevara poster? Think about it. Even though I move house, will I leave my poster in the old house? You guys, anyway, as I was saying, so my point is, as African men and women, we must reject any divisive ideology. A lot of African women here in Nigeria, now let's address the elephant in the room. A lot of African women in Nigeria are truly oppressed. You know, they are truly oppressed. And then they say that they are oppressed by African men. You know, now this is where we as African people must understand that African man, to be an African is not just by color of your skin. Right? It's not by color of your skin. You know, you don't believe in, you don't worship African gods. When it's time to do religion, your religion is European. Your ideology is European. Your favorite food is European. Where you go for holidays is European. You go where you go for pilgrimage is Arabic or European. There's nothing in your life that you do that is African. All the things of value that you have are European. You don't build in Africa, you don't do anything. Only when it's time to chance your wife, you suddenly remember you're an African man. You understand? You don't do any African festival. You participate in no African rites of passage. Many of your children are not even given African names. You do not name your children according to African practices. You do nothing in the way of Africa. But suddenly, when it's time to oppress your wife at home, when it's time to be sneaky and cheat and lie and oppress, you suddenly say you're an African man. In which world are you an African? Because the truth remains that African men do not oppress their women. African men have no capacity to oppress women. And I'll tell you why. Because the oppression of women is learned by African men. One of the ways to know about a culture of a people, to know about the practices of a people, right, is from their parables, their sayings, those things that were not written down, but have been existing in these societies from time immemorial, right? So which I talk about? I talk about our parables in Africa. You understand? Now, Europeans have a parable that says the woman's place is in the kitchen. The woman's place is in the kitchen. So I ask people, what is the African equivalent of this parable? Name one African language that has this parable. Do you understand what I'm saying? No African parable, no language in Africa has the equivalent of this parable. A woman's place is in the kitchen. You understand? So, in fact, in Yoruba language, it is impossible to say it and make sense. A woman's place, ipò obìnrin ni ilé ìṣe oúnjẹ. Ilé ìdáná ni ipò obìnrin. What is that? What is that? You know? Now we have to understand that something happened to our cultures and our traditions in Africa during the slave trade. We have to understand that all the true Africans that resisted, all the true kings, all the true chiefs, all the true warriors of African people, did not teach us that part, the resistance to slavery. Only a minute number of Africans supported the slavery, powerful Africans. Very little number, but they were so strong because they were backed by over 7 nations. So imagine one wicked chief in your town. Then he has France, UK, Spain, Portugal, Germany, all these countries supplying him everything he needs. Even bringing their own people to help him fight against his own people. So you understand? Many of these men were used as infiltrators to subvert, to usurp our true traditional rulers. You understand? So now these fake rulers, when they now, in fact, if you go to history and read a lot about how Europeans talked about African societies when they first come here, one of the things that Europeans could not believe was how free African women were. They couldn't believe that in the royal courts that the women were allowed to speak. Because in Europe, women were not allowed to have any say in political affairs. I'm telling you, is it Africans that stop Europeans from allowing women to vote? I'm telling you, the Europeans did not allow their women vote till 1920. 1920. That's when European women started to vote. Were we the ones that went to teach them that day? But in our own societies, women already had a say. We didn't have voting, but they had representation. So it is in these useless infiltrators, these traitors, that now came in. Many of them were resisted actively by the women. Even in our recent culture, you hear about women's riots. You will hear Fumilayo and the Abeokuta women's riot to remove the king. The women resisted them seriously. They had to now start behaving like their masters, to start bringing Christianity into tradition, bringing Islam into tradition. That is the reason why many of our kings and chiefs in Africa turn themselves to Christian and Muslim, to bring Christianity and Islam and mix it with the tradition and bring the patriarchy that exists in those religions, the subjugation of women, to bring it into our societies. You have to remember Before white men came to Africa, there was no such thing as boys, what a woman could not do. I repeat, go and check. As man, they be hunter, and woman, they be hunter for Africa. As man, they be farmer, and woman, they be farmer. Nothing when man they do for Africa. As woman, as we had male warriors, we had female warriors. There is nothing, there were no gender roles in Africa. There was no such thing as gender role in Africa. As we had male priests, we had female priests. In fact, Africa had gods and goddesses. Gods and goddesses, meaning that we worshipped the female form. There was also woman god that we worshipped. Now, Jesus Christ, no wife. God is father, no wife. God, no female angel. Jesus, no female disciple, no female anointed. In all the priests in the Bible, all the anointed priests in the Quran, no single woman inside all of them. In fact, when God created the world, listen, when this their God created the world, he did not create women. Go and read your creation story again. See, on the 6th day, he created man. And he finished it, he was good. He saw the work and he said it was good and he rested. Women no day in original plan. So when did African men become misogynistic? In Yoruba language, there's no word for rape. Why is there no word for rape in Yoruba language? Or is my Yoruba vocabulary too thin? Is my vocabulary too thin? And women were walking around half naked here, half naked up and down. Please teach me the Yoruba. Sheni, is there a word for rape? Please teach me the Yoruba word for rape. I want to learn it. that is Oshe, that is not a word. That's a sentence. That's not a word. But you see, Ifetoba say Ifipalopo. That's a sentence. That's not a word. It's a sentence. Because we don't understand it. Why don't African men understand? Why couldn't we? Because you have to go through a rite of passage. Being a man in Africa is not about having prick. Being a man in Africa, being a man somebody say rape, you don't go better for you. These people for this internet, see, listen, some of you are going to seize your phone. You cannot come to my page. You people are crazy. Wait, what do you mean this guy name? Who know official YBG? Anybody who know official YBG, help me seize the phone. I'll give you 100,000. Official YBG, they crazy. Is it a rape?
I know the Yoruba word.
Wait till the Yoruba word, Ken. I'll give you money.
Jackpata.
You can jackpata in the heat of passion. Kilo so.
That's rape in the heat of passion.
Jackpata. Oh, tear it off. Wait, you're not going to beat me. Yesterday they complain. My wife said they complain. No, I don't talk what I want to talk. Anyway, it's good to be good, my brother. Anyway, so somebody don't come and give me sentence. If you people can construct. You can construct. You go jail. You this what do you mean your name? Step money. We can never put you in government. Oluyiwenye. Tubula, yes, he constructor. If he babani lupo. That's a sentence. That's a sentence. It's not a word.
That's an explanation already.
If they explain that, I mean.
By the time they go to the front of the king and say,
that's a sentence, my brother. There's no word. You must conjugate words. You must create a sentence and make it a word. You must conjugate words. There's no word. You know. Anyway, so because many of them do not pass through the rite of passage, you know, so many of us don't pass through the education that we have to be men. You know, we think being a man is how you dress, you know, that you have a penis, you know, and you have big chest, you know, and that you can beat women up, you know. But these are learned behaviors. You know, African men understand that. You must understand that your number one responsibility, the only African men are those that protect African society and African women and children. If you are not in the protection of protecting African culture, African women, African children, then you cannot be an African man. You understand? It is impossible. If you are working against the development of Africa, you are selling African culture out, you know, and you are doing all these negative things to African women, oppressing them, subjugating them, belittling them, you understand, degrading them. How can you say that you're an African man? You're not an African man. You know, I always tell people, for example, I say Obama is a white supremacist. You understand? Because all these things, being an African, being a white supremacist, being a European, these are ideologies. They become politicized in this world. You know, the world has gone past the point where these things were a given, where man was man, you know, and we had nobody was seen as different from each other. There was no racism. As soon as the Europeans politicized our differences, all these things became an ideology. You understand? All these things became an ideology. So for you to be an African man, it's not to just be because you have black skin. You think, I don't want all black people to win. I only want the black people that want Africa to win. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a big difference. I don't support all black people. When all black people win, I'm not happy. You understand? It's not all black people that win that I'm happy for. In fact, when they win, when some black people win, I feel sad because I know that winning is dragging us back. I'm only interested in Africans that want Africa to win, not those that are personalizing Africa and selling it out to the Europeans as their spiritual forefathers and biological forefathers did. You understand? So these people are the ones bastardizing what it means to be an African man and creating a divide. And now, because African women have also bought into the Western idea of romanticism, which is the politicization of love, which is called romance. You understand? I always wonder that how did our grandfathers tell our grandmothers that they loved them without rose flower? So African women weren't loved before there was rose flower. You know? Before there was chocolate. Before there was heart shape. You know, but we watch all these romantic comedies in films and things like that, not understanding that they are all an agenda, an ideology. Who is this Meek Heart 150? Even Africans, Meek Heart still thinks that Africans can be racist. Africans cannot be racist. Because racism, as I said, is the politicization of race. And Africans do not have the power to be racist. Because no matter how much you dislike or hate a white man, you cannot affect his housing. You cannot affect his education. You cannot affect his work and employment. You cannot affect his movement. You cannot bomb his nation. There is no way you can impose your power on. So you cannot be racist. You can only hate, dislike.
You can't stop him from deciding.
In fact, you cannot stop him from coming to your country and taking the best job.
And deciding your life.
So how can you be racist? My brother, what kind of talk is that? Africans are, no. What Africans have is self-hate. you know, because the people that are in power in Africa, they project that. You know, they project that. You know, they project this hate. There is no innate irritation of a people to other people. That's not what racism is. Go and open a dictionary, my brother. You know, go and open a dictionary, my brother. It says racism is the innate irritation of a people to other people. There is no such thing as innate irritation to anybody. There is no such thing. When Europeans arrived in Africa for the first time, we were not irritated by them. We welcomed them. We taught them how to bath and how to brush their teeth. You understand? We taught them how to recognize germs that live in death and keep away from diseases. Gave them shelter. You understand? Educated them. We were not irritated. You know. Racism. Anyway, I don't want to talk about racism. Yeah. That's xenophobia. South Africans chase Nigerians. That's xenophobia. It is not racism. When they chase Nigeria, is it law? It's not law now. It's mob action. Do you know that by law, you as a black man in Nigeria, you know, people don't understand anything. You know, people don't understand anything in this world. Law, this is law. Racism comes from codes. Racism is, I'm not talking to Fidel. Fidel. You're not Fidel. I hope you're not saying you are Fidel Castro. Don't Fidel Castro. Racism. We are not talking to you anymore. Go and change this your handle. Fidel. Yeah, I hope it's not after Fidel Castro. You know. Anyway, let me go on with what I'm saying about our relationship. You know, so African men, we have a lot of work to do. But African women too, you know, you need to also now begin to, you know, remove yourselves from the brainwashing. From the brainwashing of European ideology. You understand? What we at MOP want to achieve, right, is the feminization of our system. You understand what I'm saying? In the movement of the people, our goal is to feminize the system of Nigeria, to make the system of Nigeria more feminine. You know, and how can we achieve that without having a lot of females involved in the forefront of our movement and soon to be political party? You know, now the global politics of the world is run, you know, by the negation of the feminine energy. This is different from feminism. You know, the feminine energy, the feminism is saying that women should replicate masculine energy. No, we don't want to replicate masculine energy. We want to bring feminine energy, which is Africana Womanism, into the system of Nigeria. We want to bring love into the system of Nigeria. We want to bring kindness into the system of Nigeria. We want to bring nurturing. We want to bring care. We want to bring teachings, education, empathy especially. Thank you, Kenny. We want to bring empathy into the system of Nigeria. And these are feminine energies that the system of the world today negates. The system of the world today is trying to make you think that helping people, caring about people, thinking about other people is a waste of time. The system of the world today is very masculine. You understand? And the masculine energy of this world can only be used for certain things, but not for nation building. You understand? The administration of a nation must be based in the feminine. You understand? Must be based and grounded in feminine energies. And we can execute it with masculine energy. But it must, how do I put it? The ideas, the policies must emanate from the feminine energy. That's why we say Mother Africa must, like through nature and nurture, that's where we must be coming from that place of love. We want a system that is no longer afraid or ashamed to love its people, so that even in society, men and women will not be ashamed to say that they are in love. as I always say to people, one of the greatest problems that black people have is that through this European promotion of violent killer culture among black people, they've now told us that it is wrong to be in love. So many African people are ashamed to be in love. Many people are in love, they cannot even tell their friends they are in love. They want to be acting like they are a hard guy. Exactly, the world wants to be hard. The world wants to be hard at all times.
They are pain, they don't want to admit it.
You know, you are in pain, exactly, Kenny. People will be feeling pain. They want to admit that they are in pain. You are going through heartbreak. You want to be forming, you know, the world is hard. And the world is hard because we execute everything with masculine energy. Whereas what the world needs today is more understanding of the feminine. And that for me is what we are saying in MOP. That's what we want to build together with the men and the women of MOP. This, how do I put it, camaraderie and understanding where we as a people are willing to always, you know, work together, not in competition with one another. Do you understand? We are not in competition with one another, you know. MOP is not an organization of alpha males, you know. You know why we are not looking for alpha males? Because we are not gorillas and lions. We are human beings. We are not gorillas and lions. We are human beings. You know what I'm saying? We are human beings. You know? Why should any man be striving to be to dominate his other men? Why should that be your goal in life? Why should you believe that is the designation that you must take in life? That it is you that dominate other men. You are the alpha. Ha, ha, ha. You know, so this is not what we're looking for. So this is what we're trying to bring back to the world, you know. And so this is a call for our women all over the world, you know, to see, check out www.mop.org. Let me just put it here.
Movement of the ladies.
And come to the organization, you know. We need you at the MOP, you know, fill the form, join the different platform, reach out to us in the admin, let us know that you're interested. And, you know, we'll be glad to have you all, because I believe that we are ready. We need it too. We need it very well. We need it. Put the subtitles so she can read it. Or maybe there's a channel for it, I don't know. Sorry guys. Yes, from the website you can link all our social media platforms, Telegram and all of that. So yeah, thank you very much everybody. I think you can watch it on Netflix. Search for it. Yeah, go and watch it. It's for your age, it's fine. It's PG. Yeah, but I'm doing my live. I don't want to increase the volume. Anyway, what's the next step now? What's my next topic? So yeah, the next topic now that I have is sorry guys, see me. Let me unpin this comment. Sorry, I was distracted. www.mop.org.ng. Pin comment. So that's the right one. That's the right one. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. You know, what's the final point? Yeah, let's make African men of ourselves so that we can be deserving of our African women, you know. And African women too, you know, it is, whatever anybody says, you know, whatever men achieve in their life, whatever men do, it is to impress the women. You know, you are here to impress women, basically, so you can mate and replicate yourself, you know. Ladies! You know, so that is truly the reason why we are here. So many men generally want to do what women kind of like. You know, so we as African men, many of us fall to the wayside because we're trying to impress one girl or the other. You know, start doing the wrong things and things like that. So African women must also help us by, you know, not picking men because of what they can buy or consume and things like that. We must begin to pick men for higher reasons, for better purpose. You know, this is something that we must also, the women must also help African men to achieve.
Change the narrative.
You know, to change the narrative, to reject the violent men, no matter how successful they are. You know, reject the tyrants. You know, to reject the oppressors of society. You know, in this world that romance is key, and I've said this before, that we must look for real love. We must look for real love in terms of we must look for real love outside of romance, because the only thing romance means is that the richest men in the world can have the best women. That's all romance means, that the richest men in the world can have the best women. Because if you believe in romance, then, you know, how can you even drag babe with Bill Gates? How can you drag babe with Bill Gates? You can't drag babe with Bill Gates, you know? So, yeah, we must strive again to be men worthy of our women, and our women must be able to recognize when men are worthy of them. You know, that's something we have to establish in our society and build together. You know, so that's my life for today. It's a clarion call. We want more women to put themselves forward in the MOP. You know, we don't have quota. You know, and we will, sadly, when you put yourself forward, we will still hold you to certain standards, the same standards that we hold everybody. You know, it is not affirmative action. You understand me? So, thank you very much. Let's do this.
Emphasize, and we dissect it from your perspective. In the studio with me, my unequivocal co-host, Seun Kuti.
Thanks for having me again, sharing your space today. Let's do this. Is the TPP? Yeah, you know we.
Thanks for coming through. I think I would have to, you know, amplify your mic a little bit because I can't really hear you, you know. But yeah, can you speak? Let me.
How about now?
Keep speaking.
Let me keep
mic
speaking.
check,
Yes,
1 2 1 2.
In fact, it's good that you give me this chance to start
my
the show off,
days.
because I have something to say. I posted our clip from our last TPP on my page, and a lot of people, just because of that 1 minute clip, where's the word I'm looking for?
What clip was that?
We were doing this show last week. Forgotten the show we were discussing. I'm sure one of our discussions.
Here? Like,
yes, here in the studio. Yeah.
Okay. So what now happened?
So they were like, oh, if he doesn't know what this girl doesn't know what she, people are just judging you basically.
Oh really? Why?
Based
Why?
on 1 minute video.
Oh, what was the video about? I didn't even see that.
Exactly, it's good.
Please, I would like to know. No.
It's on my page.
This?
It's on my page. So I now yab them. I yab all of them.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they didn't even know that without you, this show is not happening, because you're the one doing all the work in the studio.
I'm here trying to even also do this mic as well, so I don't even know what's going on. Oh, you know, we're going to use this 2 mics. I would amplify both of them. I didn't say that. We can have the show today. Okay, yes, please. I'm actually very curious. And where was I when all this was happening?
Let me turn this on. Busy enjoying life as
usual. Please. Can you specify exactly what was said in that clip? Because I know that this show is a 1 hour show. From what I remember, it's a 1 hour show, and that was a 1 minute clip.
Let me task my brain. I remember what.
What were you talking about? The women? No.
No. It was before that. We were talking about. I was making a comparison about a contradiction. I really can't remember now, so it just escaped my mind.
I'm so curious to know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because it'd be nice, to address these things. You know how sometimes you hear certain things maybe on social media, and then you get on, the live shows to actually address them. Because I'm actually very curious to know now, so that we could address exactly what they were talking about. You know what? I'll probably go to your page to go check and go see for exactly.
If I do that, I will end my live. After the show, I'll show you.
You show me? Okay, perfect. Okay, I'll be patient. But welcome to yet another episode of The People's Perspective. Thank you so much to everyone who has been a part of this so far. And as always, The People's Perspective is brought to you by Africa's #1 homeware store, Adam and Eve.
For your live. You know what I say. My favorite store in town, as I always say. And people cannot tell me not to have my opinion.
Yeah.
If that store allowed some of my habits in their store, I'm telling you, I'll probably be hanging out in the store.
Some of your habits. I want to know what these habits are.
Don't worry. If you like to know, man, you like to know. Are you know as daughter?
I'm actually very inquisitive, and I believe that's the reason why I'm doing the job that I'm doing. Because growing up, I was a very inquisitive girl. I'd always ask questions because I always wanted to understand why. I should go to my room. Why? Why? Wear this, don't wear that. Why?
Is why and no. That's her favorite.
Oh, she likes to say no as well.
No is the name. After you tell her the why,
and then she just says no. Anyways, guys, welcome to today's edition. We have a few stories that we're going to be sharing. We're going to start off, of course, with, and by the way, it is still the International Women's Week. All throughout March is the International Women's Month. And on Tuesday, we celebrated the International Women's Day. And we did see that worldwide, this was celebrated in different parts of the world where there were, groups of women championing certain gender inclusive initiatives. It's not just here in Nigeria that was, happening. And when I say that, I'm talking about the gender inclusive bills that were rejected by the lawmakers. And of course, we know that the women went out there to protest, particularly on March the 8th. They went out, they protested. And thankfully, what we did here was the reps rescinding the decision and reconsidering specific bills. Now, we know that there were 5 that were presented and were rejected. However, 3 are being rescinded and being reconsidered. I'm talking about the citizenship bill, talking about the bill giving the women the right to confer citizenship to their foreign husbands. And then the affirmative action, the bill proposing an amendment to Section 223 of the Constitution to provide 35% affirmative action to ensure women occupy at least 35% in political party administration. And then the indigenship bill, which is the bill that seeks to amend the Constitution to allow a woman to become an indigene of her husband's state after at least 5 years of marriage. So these specifically are the bills that they rescinded. Although, of course, women still want those 5 bills to be reconsidered. The women are coming together saying, you know what, this is a starting point. While there are women that are saying, yeah, so this is a starting point, but we're still not going to hold back or pull back on ensuring that the other bills are either rescinded or reconsidered. So, Seun, what are your thoughts about this? On the 8th of March, the women protested. The lawmakers decided to rescind those 3 bills. And of course, in a couple of weeks now, they're going to be hearing this out again. They're going to be seating to focus on these 3 bills again in line with gender inclusivity in Nigeria.
As I said last week, I think affirmative action in Nigeria doesn't make sense to me, especially when it's for women. Because women are actually the majority in Nigeria. So affirmative action is an idea that we got from America, right?
Okay.
But it's where there is marginalized minority, and the majority is saying this. Okay, since we've marginalized you for so long, even if you score the same, even if you are just as competent as somebody in the majority, we will pick you over the person in the majority because they've had more opportunities over time, right? But Nigeria, women in Nigeria, although marginalized, are not a minority. So I feel by this bill, they are actually relinquishing their true political power. They're actually relinquishing their true political power to say,
no, you're live. I'm just.
Oh yeah, this is internet. They've started just as soon as I started talking.
Carry on.
But anyway, it is for me kind of difficult for us as Nigerians to see this opportunity being wasted by women, because I think women, if they actually organize politically, they can be more than 35% of any political, in their own political party, they can be 100%. So why go to fight for 35%? And even if they don't want to be a political force in that aspect, just by being a pressure group, women can decide how politics is run in this country. Women can decide how businesses are run. Women can decide anything in this country. Women organize to demand what is rightfully theirs. Acquiescing to 35% is really, really diminishing what I feel is their true potential in Nigerian politics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that, but like I did also mention last week that there are several methods and mechanisms that we are able to achieve the change that we want. One being, like you did mention, women organizing. I believe that there are other methods like ensuring that they are also giving the opportunity, to have a say in the lawmaking process in Nigeria, and that's the reason why they were seeking the quota in the National Assembly. And we know that based on, for instance, the CEDAW law, if you do recall, which Nigeria assented to, that is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination. One major alternative action that countries under this intervention assented to was a quota system for women. And the reason why is because the leadership gap between men and women in, the lawmaking society has been extended and expanded for so long that even if, women do come together, yes, they will, get a certain level of progress. But because of the gap that has been created over time, the CEDAW law is saying for an alternative, mechanism to somewhat create a level playing field. And the level playing field may not necessarily be equal, but at least to close the gap a little bit. Hence, the quota system for women in lawmaking in society. And that's the reason why a lot of women are fighting for this, because we know that the gap in leadership between men and women has been expanded for such a long time. And so, yes, on one hand, women should go out there, women should mobilize. It's quite interesting that I had a conversation with some market women on the International Women's Day. They were in the studio with us. By the way, sorry to all those who are on Seun's live. I'm not really sure what's going on his Instagram live, but you could go on Lagos Talks at Lagos Talks 913. We are live on Instagram as well. All right, so as I was saying, during the International Women's Day, I did have two market women alongside other women, because what I was trying to achieve was to see, this year's theme, break the bias through the lens of your everyday Nigerian woman. And I made sure that I brought women that at least represented different spheres. And one of the things that I did ask the women was, market women have been very pivotal when it comes to electoral process in Nigeria. A lot of these political office holders know the power that market women hold, hence why they always try to get them on their side, because they know if these market women come together, there's a possibility that it will definitely give you a boost and a push, to whomever it is that is running for office. And I asked them why, if you all come together, during, election season and you're supporting a particular political office holder, why can't you as, women come out by yourselves to say, you know what, I want to go? One of the things that she did mention was, yes, women want to go. But first of all, women are already defeated in their minds that, if I go, who is going to come and support us? Especially if you're running within a political party where you're not necessarily being represented. You would find it difficult for you to get sponsorship to be able to move forward because in itself, political parties are very competitive. Because see what's going on in the APC at the moment, because, you did mention this before we went on air. And so she mentioned that. And she also did mention that even women who've dared to come out to say, you know what, I want to run, or I want to be represented, or I want to represent other women, they are stifled heavily within the system.
You're making my point for me. If that's the point I'm making, that this system in itself is anti-women. So what kind of woman wants to go inside? You understand? Affirmative action is an integrationist ideology, right? So like I said, it comes from America. So, and even one of the biggest champions of affirmative action, one of the biggest champions of integrationism is the great Martin Luther King. But even before he was assassinated, when he gave his mountaintop speech, he said, I fear that I have integrated my people into a burning building. As we said, APC has 208 internal what's the word? Internal lawsuits. So that is a burning building. So why are we trying to integrate ourselves into these political parties that do not even really represent our interests? I don't think we are still believing in this naive idea that, we can go and change something from the inside. Nobody can change anything from the inside. Change comes from outside. You have to change something from outside of it. It's like a cockroach that has been eaten by a chicken. Now saying I want to change the chicken from inside the chicken's belly. How can you are being digested? These people, there's a system that they operate. Our way to defeat the system is to organize outside of it and confront it, not to try and integrate into it and say you want to change it from within. It can't happen. I think Nigerian women are always, I'll repeat, it's not only like we are saying some women don't want to take this opportunity. Definitely, many women have actually been in this system in strong positions. One of them is Desiani. And look at what the system turned her into. Or rather, look at even Dora, I think the late. She started so well in NAFDAC. They wouldn't leave her there to continue the good job until they dragged her through Senate, where she was doing what Nigeria, great people, great nation, where she was trying to launder the image of Nigeria. You understand? Regardless of the reality of people on ground, that's what they wanted to use her for at the end of the day, because she joined the system. Even though she was perfect in NAFDAC, doing everything, she was the first person to actually organize our food and drug agency to actually stop overtly polluted food and goods from getting to people's tables to eat and drink. You understand? She did that. She could have done more there, but the system dragged her away from there and started using her to launder Nigeria's image.
Okay.
So that is how the system works. For me, I really believe that Nigerian women have a stronger role to play than going to fight for 35% of positions in these burning buildings, as I would call it.
I mean, there are just a few things that I was saying in response to that, because currently I want you to understand that women are not trying to segregate themselves further. What women are trying to do is integrate with the other half of the population, which is men, because they're telling the men, we're not fighting against you, we're saying carry us along, because at the end of the day, we're 50% men, 50% women that make up the population. That's number one.
Not tell these men to carry them along. These men are lost. I'm telling you, women, when I say women in politics, people don't understand this. That's why I'm not a feminist. I don't believe in feminism. What I believe in is femininity, this female energy, which is lost in society. which is what these men and this system continually try to kill. You understand? That is why the world is not balanced, because everybody wants to be greedy, harsh, strong, possessive, all these negative attitudes that are so hard and masculine that society wants to continue to elevate, whereas the true things that make us human are the feminine energies of humanity, and those energies are being attacked. So when we talk about sharing, nobody wants to share. Sharing is a sign of weakness, because being a woman is weak. Loving is a sign of weakness, because being a woman is weak. Giving, kindness, allowance, tolerance. You see, these things are the energies in society that is being destroyed, and feminism is what I have against it, is agreeing that these energies should be destroyed while everybody act like a man.
No, I feel like that's exactly I feel like that's exactly what feminism is fighting against, because yes, because first of all, we know that feminism is fighting for equal opportunity for both men and women. That's number one.
Equality
number
with
two,
your oppressor makes you your oppressor.
No. Then number two, what feminism is also saying is women should not be the ones to change themselves to fit the mold that has been created by society as this is the way the corporate world should be run, with masculine energy. And that's exactly what feminists are saying. Let me carry on.
We don't have to be women. We can be men too.
No. That's not. And that's the thing. Let's listen to what women are saying. You can't tell women what they're saying. Women will be the ones to tell you what exactly they're saying and what they mean. What we are saying, because if you have been listening to some of the conversations we've been having all throughout the week, one thing that we've been harping on is it's time for this thing called equality to move from women need to change to fit the mold, because women shouldn't be the ones to change. The systems should change is what we are saying. And what we are also saying is, and I like the fact that you have mentioned, about masculinity and femininity. And that's the reason why women are not trying to also say the only thing that the world needs is femininity. What we are saying is we need to collaborate. There is a place for masculinity. There is a place for femininity. And that's the reason why we are men and women, because we both, help each other. It's like
you mistake that men and women possess both energies. This is what I'm trying to say to you.
We know that a lot of times one gender possesses more. There's a dominant energy, and that's what we've seen.
Yes.
So one gender has a more dominant energy, which is a lot of times, more often than not, you see the woman possesses a more dominant feminine energy, and then more often than not for a man, he possesses a more dominant masculine energy. And that's why we are saying we need each other. We should all be interdependent. We're not saying we want to create a completely different world that is run by women. We are saying, because we already know that there is an existing system that is recognized by law. We know that the Senate is recognized by law. Do you understand? We're not saying that we want to go and create our own type of lawmaking system. That's against the law. And that's the reason why we are saying, men, we would need to get into the mix so that you understand that you as men, you need women, and we as women, we need men. Let the masculinity and the femininity come together is what we are saying.
Okay, perfect. But which woman in the leading role of this feminist movement is portraying that? Because as I said to you, many of the women in politics who stand as the leaders of the feminist movement, Hillary Clinton, for example, who claims to be a feminist, and I'm not seeing women come out in general to say, Hillary Clinton, you're not a feminist, we reject you. She's there doing things that men do. You understand? So it's not about the Oprah Winfreys of this world, the CEOs that are women in this world running all these big corporations. Many of the arms manufacturing companies of the world today are still run by women. Are now run by women, sorry. Does it stop them from bombing women and children all over the world? Exactly. Many women today launching fashion brands, the big stars from the Beyoncés to the Rihannas, and these things are made by women in Asia, in sweatshop factories, working in slave-like conditions. You understand what I'm saying? So these people are earning from these women the same way men exploit and earn from them. So we can play the lip service to say blah, blah, blah. But on ground, what are we seeing in the leadership of the women of this world? What are they doing is what I'm saying. I don't listen to, because if I listen to lip service, I would think Buhari is a good president. I would think Osibanjo is a good vice. I would think Sanwo-Olu is a great governor. But I follow the reality on ground.
And I like that you've said that.
So for me, it is not about what people, the rhetoric. What I'm really talking about is this true energy. And don't get me wrong, men and women possess equal amounts of this energy. Men that are balanced will be in touch with their feminine side. Women that are balanced will be in touch with their masculine side. You understand? And be able to utilize these energies anytime it is necessary. That for me is what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
It's not that one has to dominate the other. No, there must be a way that the two dance.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like in both genders there is a dominant energy. And that's the reason why you mentioned that women themselves, they need to embrace that femininity, is what you're saying. And that's what I'm saying. In men, 9 times out of 10, their dominant energy is masculinity. Not saying that they do not have femininity, right? The feminine energy. And I'm saying in women, the dominant energy is femininity. But I
think the dominant energy in any individual is the energy that they personally choose to
a whole lot of times, 9 times out of 10, if you're looking at the current reality of things, is what I'm saying. But I like the fact that you've mentioned some of these things, Seun, because I feel like if we are pushing towards women having the same opportunity, we are in no way saying that out of the pool of women, there aren't the ones that are qualified and there aren't the ones that are unqualified. I feel like that needs to be very clear as well. Because if you're using the number of women, which is like a drop in the ocean, that have been given the opportunity, so to speak, to represent women in Nigeria, which are millions, that is a very little sample size compared to the number of women
that have been allowed, that have been given. You see, that's what this 35%
okay,
is. So they will also give this kind of women. What we are saying is, if women independently organize outside of quota system, outside of affirmative action, but organize for themselves, not to be giving.
So are you saying that even with these women coming into the Senate, where we know that votes will count, you're saying that the votes will not count, that even when those seats...
Their votes will count, but they will vote for the wrong thing.
Who would vote for the wrong thing? Are you talking about the people?
Both the men and the women.
Vote. So now my issue is...
when they are in the... You know about them before they get voted in. See, don't worry about it. It's when they are inside with the sharks and the lions, and by 35% they're automatically already at a disadvantage. Isn't
this where we then say that when those seats are quote unquote available based on law, that we should ensure that the right people are being voted into office? And that's the reason why we keep on saying, if we vote the right people into office, because one of the issues that we face in Nigeria is that the political system is dominated with a lot of sharks, quote unquote, a lot of unqualified people. And that's the reason why we want to vote more qualified people so that they can displace the unqualified people, is what we are saying. So when we make these seats available for women, isn't it our position as maybe journalists to also advise that people should vote the right people? So we're not saying because we're making the seats available for women, you should vote in people that are unqualified. Vote in qualified women the same way we're advising vote in qualified men.
To be a qualified woman, you have to be a candidate. You have to be a chosen candidate. You can't just go on a party and say, vote for me in this party because...
There you go. Hence the affirmative action in political parties.
The candidate. So there might be 5 women vying for one position, or 3 women vying for one position. And the party machinery will have to be the one to pick which woman stands as the candidate. Will have to be the one to... They will be delegated. They say it's democratic. But even in America, between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, you can see that internal political machinations and manipulations can happen to create the candidates that the party wants. No candidate can defeat its own party. You understand? When the party is hell-bent. So 5 women can go, but these same people that we are talking about will be the ones to decide which of the 5 women.
But do you not believe that with this law being signed, or this bill being signed into law, because like I mentioned, one of the things that the women who sat down in the studio said was they're not even encouraged to run. Because they already see, first of all, what they are seeing at the top is a male-dominated National Assembly. So that alone it dissuades them and discourages them because they believe that these men have held their reins deep in the system, that they make it difficult for the women to even show or push themselves out there. But if you also, because like I did mention, everything, there are different mechanisms that you put into place to create change. Mobilization, yes, being one of it, but ensuring that you understand that the law still recognizes the lawmakers, meaning that those lawmakers will still make laws. And if you have a lawmaking system that is filled with 95.5% men, is what I'm saying.
Listen, did you hear that one lawmaker last week brought a bill to the House to say that all lawmakers, all public office people should only use public services, and the entire House shouted him down. You understand what I'm saying? You sound as if we've not had this Senate there for.
So my question is,
okay, wait. Even as much as we are saying women, men too, don't they have a responsibility to their country?
They do.
Are there not good men out there?
There are.
How come in the 20-something years that this Senate has been operating, no good man has
And that's exactly what I am saying.
So,
because there are two things that we are targeting. We are targeting inclusivity in the House, and we are also targeting the quality of people that should be voted into the House, is what we're saying.
yes, but without mobilizing on our own to create the organizations to bring about these people, they will not be made.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Seun. I said it's multifactorial because we can't say it's either or. We are saying that the fact that you are going to mobilize on one hand, it is not mutually exclusive with having inclusivity in the House. But what we are saying is we should ensure that different mechanisms are targeting the change that we want. One being mobilization, another being inclusivity in the House.
If you are mobilizing, why do you need government to these people to give it 35% in the House?
Seun, like, based on what we've been seeing in politics in Nigeria, it is difficult for the women to get into those positions. This is what we're saying.
Politics. It's because women and men and everybody have been playing this same politics.
Honestly, let's agree to disagree, but let's hear from the listeners.
We've not given ourselves a chance to actually create our own platforms. We want to go into APC and PDP and change things from within, or go into some party that's built by one person for his own ambition and all these things that we do. But if Nigerian people truly organize themselves professionally, religiously, even based on gender in any way, and we truly organize ourselves, we don't need to integrate with our oppressors to get freedom.
All right, please feel free to join the conversation. 0809234 5913 0809222 0913. Lagos Talks, good morning. Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking?
Good morning, my sister.
Hi, good morning. What's your name?
This is Tunde speaking from Bariga.
All right, let's hear you.
My brother, I salute you, sir.
How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Don't let this our sister kill you in the studio there.
No, how can she kill me? If he takes care of me.
The truth is that when you look at Lagos State as an example, let's take the local government elections as a sample. How many local government elections? The thing is, people are going for primary, you will not be mobilized. So the only way out for the women is that let them come out. Then let them vote for themselves. They should leave the association of singing and dancing for somebody. I listened to this man when they are doing campaign of chairmanship election in Lagos. That man at Yaba, Babome Yale. If you see how that man is old, and if you see the people that are jumping and singing, you see that the majority of them, they are women. So, and I look at it that these people can't they think at all that this man should just go and retire. This man should go and rest so that they will give another people a better chance to perform well in their own area, in their own locality. But the women these days, they will only put them in the market because it is very, very tough. So if women tell things, they cannot get from these two political leading parties. It is not possible because they will never give them that opportunity, except if one Baba will say, okay, Allah, that is the head. But if you go to the main context of the primary before the main election, they cannot withstand the odds. So that is my point.
All right, thank you very much. This is coming from Ola saying, I'm a feminist. But the ladies don't need to fight for equality on the floor of the Senate. Let the women go out there and slug it out for the chance to contest on the platform of any party, then win. people like Oluremi and Itagiwa did it. Well, I would come in as a woman to let you understand that there's so many ways that we have been, as individuals themselves, we have been divided in society. There's division by class, there's division by religion, there's division by gender as well. So it's just like telling, and this is an example because I saw there's this video that's been going viral on social media. I have to take it into the entertainment scene where some of these very popular reality TV show people were talking about and giving people advice, telling them that they should go out there and work hard, that nobody wants to work hard these days. And people rejected it and they responded to it with a lot of anger, saying, but you had a great foundation in life because you were born into a very rich family, right? Which makes it difficult maybe for some people who might not have had the same opportunity as you.
Let me just, you can continue, but let me just say clearly here, even the IMF has stated categorically, if you are successful, is because you are from a successful background.
Fantastic. So let me and I like the fact that you've confirmed this. Yes, and the reason why I want to highlight that to Ola is to say it's just like telling someone who's coming from a lower class that they're not working hard enough, that they should go and slug it out amongst other people who are rich, who have the connections, who have the godfathers. You keep telling them slug it out as though they're not working hard enough, but letting you know that there are systems, because this thing called this segregation is systemic when it comes to class, when it comes to religion, when it comes to gender. So it's easy for you to say, go and slug it out, knowing that there are things that are holding you back as a Nigerian citizen. It is not an enabling environment for everyone. And it's even worse for people coming from the lower echelon. So you can't just say women go out there and slug it out as if there are not existing systems that have held them back for such a long time. And that's the reason why we keep saying that the leadership gap has been extended and expanded for so long between men and women in Nigeria. So it's not easy for you to just say
really
slug it out.
Female situation in Nigeria.
Of course.
You have to understand that even among our oppressors, there are women.
And I'm not refusing that fact.
These women are the ones that will enter this 35% position you're talking about.
I cannot say that for a fact.
I'm telling you for a fact.
I can't say that for a fact.
About,
and you know what?
Look at him. Even this guy that's talking, they don't understand the concept. He says Remy did it. Who is Remy?
There
Remy
you go.
is Tinubu's wife. Exactly. So how are they? These are the people that will enter based on the structures that are existing today. So
which
women want to take, yes, these structures that are existing, it is their wives, their girlfriends, their children, their sisters, their cousins. These are the people that will enter this position. There's nothing you want to, and those ones will not enter there and go and fight their husband interest of. I mean, even in youth, we youth before, not too young to run everything, they started to employ youth all up and down the whole place in government. What are the youth doing? They made the Meji Bankole the Speaker of the House of Representatives. What did he do there? As a youth in Nigeria for young people in this country. So please, let us not mistake ideology. Ideology is everything. And the grounding and ideology of these two parties that we are all shouting to go and integrate into this system, this burning building, will only take people and make them into monsters.
Which is understandable, but we also understand that.
Without women independently organizing themselves outside of this present structure, whether they'll give you 100% in the Senate, you will go in there and you will do things to the detriment of this country.
Okay.
Because that is how the structure is.
So Seun, the thing is, in as much as yes, we do understand and we do agree with that, there are people that are currently in the system that are running the way Nigeria is being run at the moment, and we need to acknowledge that that is a system that still does exist. So on one hand, if people go out there and mobilize, yes, that is successful. But in the other hand, we are saying that women need to get into the law-making system in Nigeria, is what we are saying. And this doesn't in any way take away from the process that should go into play.
It does.
Can I finish?
No,
this doesn't in any way. When I say take away from the process that should go into play, we're not saying hire just, or rather we're not saying just elect or pick any woman. We're saying we as the citizens who the power is in our hands should vote the right women into those positions.
But the right women on which platforms?
Now that's another conversation, Seun, because the fact that the 35,
the same conversation.
No, the fact that the 35% is going to be available, you can also encourage women. Now that the 35% is available, women get into other political offices get into other political parties, start other political parties for the betterment of Nigeria.
I will tell you for a fact that this 35% is these people's wives and their
and that's your opinion, and that's fine.
That are behind it.
And that's it. And I understand your stance because there is precedent for that.
If women want change for this country, women must be politically active in the mobilization and organizational angle of things, not in this integrationist part of things. Women must become active. Not only active, women must begin to reject the toxic men in our society and their message, not promoting them, espousing them, singing for them, saying, oh, I can't reach this one, can marry anyone. We have a lot to demand of our women, but since many men in Africa too don't have their act together, maybe it's impossible for us to demand this from our women. But at the same time, let us not deceive ourselves as if Nigeria or Africa is being ruined by men alone. All these men are married.
Of course, it's both men and women.
We've not seen any of their wives come outside to say, my husband is so evil.
We haven't in any way said that it is only men that have damaged the running of Nigeria. It's not what we're saying.
Suddenly there's 35% women.
But we are not acting as though.
What I'm saying, and I'll continue to say, is that this is nothing without women actively organizing themselves.
And I would add to that by saying there is no just one way to make change in Nigeria. That there are contributory ways, one being women being properly represented in lawmaking in Nigeria, and we can also mobilize as women. It's not being given. It's not being given. These are temporary actions. These are temporary actions, and it's not just Nigeria that has adopted this method.
This is being given. I don't care.
And that's fine. And that's okay, Seun.
These countries that you people look up to, are they civilized? In America,
we're not talking about America, we're talking about African countries
in
England,
as well. Any country in Africa. What are we talking about? As if this world is some kind of civilized place where we should be looking at people that are doing something.
But Seun, there is no one size fits all. There is no one size fits all.
What I'm saying, and I will repeat, this is being handed, it's being given. These people that cannot give us good education, cannot give us good health care, why do you think that giving you 35% of position is a good thing?
The fact
they
that
cannot give us anything good. All the good things in this country that is going to come from Nigerian people have to take it by themselves. And without women organizing politically, I do not see the reason why women are demanding for political position.
But that's one method.
Political organization.
But that's one method.
Without political organization, I don't see why. So it's definitely not women asking for this. It is a special interest. This is a special interest group.
Okay.
That is what this is. Because women that are not organizing politically, what is their business with political position? Women must be organizing politically.
Seun, let's read out some more. Let's read out some more tweets. And we are 100%, yes, and we 100% agree with you. But I still stand.
Special interest to me as a national interest.
I still stand by, if Nigeria is going to change, there is no one method to it.
Yes, but
Nigeria's damage has been deeply rooted in systemic ills from so many years ago.
So
it's not one method. So yes, you can say you can't say that. You can say based on your own opinion. No. I mean, based on your own opinion. No. Based on your own opinion, you can say it based on your own opinion. But what I'm saying as well, exactly, and that's why I'm saying it is multifactorial. That is no one size fits all.
This giving 35 is not the method.
And I will repeat as well that women need to be a part of law making in Nigeria.
Not by being given.
This is coming from a listener saying, if we need more women in the Senate and the House of Reps, it has been proven that men perform better when there are more women present. Boys in mixed schools are also known to outperform boys who attend only boys' schools. Data does support this, available online, and this is coming
there are more
from
mixed schools than normal single boys school, so there's more. I mean, all these kind of statistics. This is why I'm telling you. This is why Mark Twain said there are lies There are damn lies, and then there are statistics.
This is coming from Usman saying, how many ladies call on radio when it involves politics? You see, you won't see them call, but when it's time for relationship talks on the show, you will see ladies call. Well, you know what? Let me change that narrative, because if you've been listening to The Dish, 90% of the times when I'm talking about relationships, it's men that are calling in. So let me correct that notion as well. This is coming from Ade saying, the only thing that can save us from Nigerian visionless leaders, selfish leaders, and rubber stamps National Assembly, we need to start orienting our people, women, youth, from the grassroots campaign about atrocity that they commit when they reach these positions. If not, we will continue till the end comes. And this is coming from Sonny saying, even America that we are copying didn't allow women to vote years back. Without these laws in place, there is no way women would be allowed to sit at the table, which I agree 100%. And it came from these women, these feminists, and this is talking about the 19th to the 20th century. That was the first wave of feminism.
Where they went. When did black women start voting in America?
And
this is what I'm saying. When people don't understand themselves, this one is coming to talk about how they allow white women to vote. When the white women were voting, did the white women say, oh, we don't want to vote until our black sisters start voting? No, they abandoned you to your own problem. They were voting since 1920. You did not get the vote till 1960 with the black man.
But so
it is,
which is 100%. I agree with you.
Use this. See,
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But I feel like you should also
agreeing. You
should also enlighten people that there are different forms of segregation. There is gender, there is race, there is class. So we have to understand that, and there are different discussions.
Obviously, this guy did not put race into his own constitution.
Yeah, so that's why we need to enlighten them.
After all is said and done, we are African people.
This is coming from Dozier saying, nothing is free even in Freetown. Women who are advocating for 35% should know that.
Fought for the right to vote. They were not given like white women in America. White women were given the right to vote. And look at what they do to it. They use it to continue to suppress and subjugate black people. How many white women in America call police on black people for doing nothing? They have a name for them. They say Karen. That's how prevalent it is in their society. So people should not.
Yes, but let's separate that. That's not even the conversation. But that's a race thing. We're talking about gender in Nigeria.
He's using it as an example.
Let's enlighten them. Yeah, we're enlightening them.
White women getting the vote and black women getting the vote came in two different ways.
Yes, this is coming from Ola saying I totally agree with the Big Bird. This bill is a special interest hitting under equality. Once it is pasted, it will only get to the oppressors, and we are back at where we started. And this is coming from Madame Adele saying Seun is correct with giving out 35% because they did not work for it, and they may toe the line of these bad set of men dominated the Nigerian National Assembly. This is coming from Lagos Talks. Good morning.
Good morning. It's Yan.
Hi, good morning. What's your name?
Welcome to the show.
This is Ngozi from Anthony.
All right, Ngozi, welcome. Join the conversation.
Okay.
Our first female caller ever.
No, we've had female callers in the past.
Politics. I kind of support what Seun is
okay.
To the point he's trying to make. It's like a giving. They are giving us something, and that's where I have problems. That giving. We are begging them to give us 35%. For what? We have to prove ourselves that we are worth to be in that house. First of all, the way men start politics from the grassroots, that's how women should go back to their various constituents wherever it is. If you have interest in politics, you have to start from the community. You have to prove yourself. You have to make yourself available. You have to make the community to know that you can give them exactly the same thing the man they voted in or the man they're going to vote to give. Why do you want to tell them to give you 35%? I have a problem with that. The only thing I know that from the bill I have problem with is that when you are married, you can't buy for any political post
in your husband's state. If you're married into a different state.
And another one is if a woman should marry a foreigner, the person cannot be a Nigerian citizen. But apart from that, every other thing, it's just like in the office now where you are working, Lagos stuff. Did you ask them for you to make you for you to work as a moderator in this? No, you prove yourself. You make yourself. At least you have a good day. You have yourself. You have mission. Because you guys are the good hands. So telling them to give you 35% is like begging them. And when it comes to like they will see it as if they've given
us a favor. Thank you very much.
So it's like controlling women. So I believe the best thing for us is to start from the grassroots.
And I agree with that 100%. But I also want to say this because you said women should prove themselves. Women have proven themselves all their lives. Women have been leaders in their homes. Women have birthed leaders. So women don't have to prove themselves. Matter of fact, we have proven ourselves as good leaders. That's number one. Number two, like someone did rightfully mention, if certain laws did not exist, women would not have had opportunities to be able to do certain things. Like, for instance, because she did ask me, did I beg them to be able to work on air? No, I didn't. But dare I say that there was a particular period in time where women, the ratio between men and women in the labor force or in the labor pool was a drastic gap. And it was due to certain movements that led to women giving the opportunities because they already were qualified. Is that the opportunities were not available. They were already qualified. It took certain movements and certain laws to come into place for corporate Nigeria and corporate America or Europe or wherever to give women the opportunity. And it wasn't as though women came in and they were just, because yes, there are some companies that based on tokenism so that they seem as if, they are being liberal or they seem as if they are being inclusive. They now started hiring women. But over time, they realized that these women were also qualified, which gave space for more women in the system.
And this technique, what has it led to for women in the workplace? On equal pay, on equal treatment,
there you
harassment.
go.
So when something is given to you, this is what happens. See, the corporate world gave women jobs, right? And actually gave women jobs to weaken the negotiation.
Okay, let me ask you a question because we've run out of. But what would have been the alternative, Seun? If at all they did not create laws for women to have opportunities in the corporate world, what should have been an alternative?
If to discuss labor and work, I don't think that has to be a show on its own. I don't even believe human beings should work.
Okay.
So labor, and this is for me is an unnatural discussion that we can have, and we can break it down. How women can engage. Properly in producing and manufacturing as African women did for centuries, for thousands of years, before we now started working. Okay. So because in Africa, I used to say to people, before they came to give us boys and girls school and give us gender roles, in Africa there was gender identity, but there was no gender role. You understand? Women could be hunters, farmers, this whatever you wanted to be, you could be. You understand? So there was an education that went with that. So what is working? What is work if you are working for yourself? If you are existing, doing your things. Women were controlling all the money in Africa. They control the marketplace in Africa. So women controlled all the money. So what happened to that? That women now have to beg for money from people that had no money before.
There you go.
You understand? So there's a balance to society that maybe no one is perfect. But me, I don't even think we are put on this earth to work for somebody else. To help somebody else achieve their own vision in life while giving us some stipend. Even if we go to the history of what it took to make African people work. When Europeans came in to say, come and work. Africans say, for who? For what? What's that? What's this word?
All right, this is coming from a listener saying, if I think you will understand the depth of the conversation when you drop the female bias. Women, men, and youth of Nigeria suffer the same fate, and solutions will only come from a unified front from the trio. Well, I would like to educate you some more. Like I did mention, there are different systems that segregate people in society. There is gender, there is class, there is religion. The moment you begin to understand it, yes, people suffer forms of oppression that might seem different in these different systems. So yes, if you want to address it, you could address it as a whole or you could address it individually. But you cannot lump them up together and say the same oppression that women face as women is the same oppression that the lower class faces.
The poorest person in Nigeria is definitely a woman.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I'm telling you. And it's what you're saying I'm saying. Do you understand? Because to be a poor man People don't understand, and this is why I'm surprised that women don't engage more. Women are not more angry. Women are not organizing more to change this country. To be a poor man, how do you exist? You wake up, you brush your teeth, you come out. People will not really, you see, you're poor. But do you know what it means to be a poor woman that cannot afford makeup? No, listen. Because this is necessary.
Yeah.
Lipstick, sanitary pads.
Sanitary pads.
No, listen.
Yes.
Don't act like lipstick.
There is period poverty.
Lipstick is not what's it called anymore? Lip balm. All these things for women. It is not option.
It's not luxury, so to
luxury.
speak. Yes.
Taking care of their hair, their fingernails, all these things that make a woman in society, that comes with a price tag that the poor woman cannot afford. You know the oppression that created that to make women not be able to come out of their house the way they are. At least woman must afford bra and top.
Yes.
Man does not have to buy shirts.
True.
You can wear short knicker, slippers, and come out. Can woman come out without bra and top?
No. Well, more often, no.
You can't. You not be saying more for you. Just except you except you want to enter.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Except you want to trend that
I said more often, yeah, no. But
if it's the plan
it doesn't mean that people don't.
I'm just saying, like society itself.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying about oppression for women. So society in itself has these things in place that come with money that society does not provide for women.
Indeed.
You understand? So for me, women must see these things clearly in line, that there's something that they themselves must organize to be against. That's my point.
All right, yeah, definitely this conversation does continue, but thank you so much. I know, MC Oluwama.
Yeah, you strong.
Thank you so much, everyone who was a part of the show today. 4 minutes past 12. Big Bird, it's always a pleasure having conversation with you. Before I say goodbye, any words, and would you like to also drop your handle?
Yeah, Instagram is Big Bird Kuti, Facebook Seun Kuti, Twitter at Seun Kuti. And as I always say, let's all try to be part of the solution. And Lagos drivers,
like that.
I'm going home. Mona, give me road. Give yourself. Don't drive anyhow. I'm going home. Don't cause traffic.
All right, guys. You can reach out to me on Instagram and on Twitter at Ify_I. That is IFY_I. Follow Lagos Talks and Lagos Talks 913 across all social media platforms. 12:30 is Directions, 1 p.m.
We are Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's talk.